Hey, Wolves fans, it's Branden Scott, and with me, the head coach of the Wolves, Cory Stillman. Cory, how are you doing, or how are you holding up so far?
Things are going well. Obviously, it's almost summer now. The season's been canceled. We're in June, and we're back at the cottage and getting ready for the water to warm up and get the boat on the lake and get skiing.
Yeah, I know you're itching for sports just as bad as I am right now, but let's go back to that last Sudbury Wolves season. They finished with a record of 34-27-1 and got the division title. What are your thoughts right now? What do you think back?
Well, I think for last year we were up and down a little bit. I think we made some big improvements in our team game. I think some individuals had some career years. It would have been exciting to get into the playoffs. One, we had home ice really all the way through. And, if we were fortunate enough to get to play Ottawa, we would have been on the road. But to win a division title for our organization is big. And I think we still needed one game to clinch it, but I think we would have been there.
Yeah, for sure. And you talked about a couple of players having career years. Who are some of these players that stick out in your mind when you think about that?
Well, when you go to look at points, I think Quinton had a career year on that side. The amount of points he had with missing some games and being at the World Juniors. I think Blake Murray, you started to see what he's going to be like. Macaulay Carson had more points. Shane Bullock, until he was traded, had more points. Owen Gahula had points. So it's part of the game, part of learning the process. And I think when we talk about junior hockey, you see your 19 and 20-year-olds really step up, and sometimes it's an 18-year-old. But we had guys produce. I think coming back into last year, we were a little nervous on who was going to create offense. But as you can see, we were a high-scoring team. We could score goals. Just on some nights, we couldn't keep it out of our net. But we found ways to win hockey games. And when you look at that, it would have been exciting getting into the playoffs again.
And you mentioned right there, Blake Murray, that you've now coached him for a couple of years. He's a Carolina Hurricanes sixth-round draft choice. He finished the year with 72 points and 35 goals. How has his game really developed under your eyes?
I think he's made big strides. He's a pure goal scorer, which you don't see a lot of it. And when you have one, you have to get him the puck as quickly as you can. He's got to get in the spots. And he scored 35 goals. And when we go back and you look at tape, he probably could have scored 40, 45 goals. Sometimes he missed the net, maybe trying to get a little too cute. But he's come a long way. His game's rounding out. He started to push back more near the end of the season. He's going to need that in order to play pro. He's going to have a big summer. Can't say if they're going to have evaluation camps or training camps right now in the NHL with what's going on there. So he's going to have to come back, be a 19-year-old in our league, dominate our league. And if he does that, he has a chance of signing a contract. And again, he was a first rounder almost 4 years ago. And, you're 19 years of age. This is the time for you to show who you are.
And you mentioned about wonky things going on in the NHL, but one thing we know that's still going to happen at one point this year is the NHL Draft. And the Sudbury Wolves, we have 3 players on the NHL Central Scouting list. Let's just go through and get you to describe what these players really are, starting with the obvious one, Quinton Byfield. What can you tell me about his game?
Well, Quinton's a special player, and everybody sees that. You have a 6'4" centerman who can skate, that can play both ends of the ice, who makes players around him better. I think it's an exciting time for him. I'd imagine he would like the draft to be going on when it's scheduled here in about, on the 21st or whatever, but they're going to have to wait. So we expect him to go to camp whenever that is, and it's up to him. He needs a big summer. He's going to be playing against men that are chomping at the bit to play again, and he's a great player and who's only going to get better. We jump into Jack Thompson. Jack came a long way from a 16-year-old defenseman, which is hard to do in our league, to 17, to starting the quarterback to power play. He's a gifted offensively, has a great shot. For me as a coach, we know when he's on. When Jack's game is on, his first pass is tape to tape, and every time he gets the puck on the blue line, it's hitting the net. He scored early. in the season. And again, I expect him to get drafted. I expect him to come back and put up bigger numbers. And that's not putting pressure on a kid. It's just knowing the league. But I think, again, a big summer for him. He'll come in. He can score. He's going to be a leader back there. He's going to quarterback the power play. And when his shot gets to the net, he could score 20 to 30 goals. And then you have Isaac Phillips up for the draft too. And the two kids played together. Jack and Isaac play together as a pairing, but in my eyes are different hockey players, but they complement each other well, where Isaac skates well. He gets out of traffic. He's big. Someone's going to pick him. He's going to come back next year again, play as a 19-year-old, but have a big season. And I think his progress again has come from last year to this year, expecting bigger things next year, more ice time, more responsibility, power play, penalty kill. And someone's going to, you draft any of our three players, you're going to get great players.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And I know you mentioned you're looking at next year a little bit with some of the expectations. Is there any player that you're expecting a big leap?
I expect it from everybody. To be honest with you, you can never be satisfied with the year you had. You can have a great year, but you need to be better. As players, you need to dominate one level in order to play at the next level. We had some guys that came in, didn't play as much as they did probably the year before in midget hockey or playing in tier 2, and we're an up and coming team. I think we're going to have a lot of skill. I expect next year to score goals again. But looking at that, I could say our 03s, I expect big things out of them. Kostelman started to understand it a little bit later. And you saw what he could do. He can score, he can make plays, he was protecting teammates. He brought in Adam Samuelson just before, at Christmas was struggling. After that, became the dominant player. So we have a lot of good things going for us in Sudbury. Like even Liam Ross, I expect a bigger year out of Liam. One year he had 30 points, last year he had 16. I think he's got to combine both seasons, put them together, and then there's an opportunity for him to play also.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I have to ask you about, we had one of our imports signed with us this offseason, Freddie DeCow. He's a big goaltender. Have you watched any of his game at all, or is this something you're waiting until training camp before you really start to look at him?
Well, you watched a little bit when he played. Again, it's a different game. On Olympic-sized ice, angles are different. Whether things happen faster or slower to a goalie, I do not know. But he's going to come over and earn a spot and play, and it's exciting. We tried to get him last year, but this year he's coming over. He's ready to go. Hopefully that is in September, right? We'd like to get him over here as early as we can, and he is. He's a big goalie. Is he Uko? I don't know if he is or if he isn't. Would it be nice if he could become Uko? Yes, it would be. But Freddie's his own goalie. Besides being 6'5", the same height to catch with opposite hands, different goalie. But I think coming to junior hockey and coming to the OHL in Sudbury is a positive move for him, and it will pay off.
And lastly, Cory, what's next for you this summer?
Well, I'd like to know when a date is to sit when we're going to start. That's my biggest thing right now. Usually at this time we're getting ready. I think the schedule usually comes out pretty soon, so we're seeing how many 3-and-3s we have and where's our road trip and are we down and back and scheduling events. But no, it for me is we have a team coming back. There's open spots. I think everybody knows as a coach and has watched me go through my first couple of years, we often change players. So young guys coming in, we're excited for them. There's opportunities to play. I've always said it doesn't matter if you're drafted in the first round, 10th round, 15th, if you're an invite, you come and play hard, you're going to get a chance to play. We're trying to improve every game. So to me, is that opening of training camp is what I'm looking forward to. I just wish we knew a date and we could get on, but in today's world right now, we don't know what's happening.
Well, thank you again for doing this, Cory. I know you're fighting through the windstorm right now. Future.
All right. Thanks, Branden.